Good morning, students. As we have continued with the human physiology, the topic is the digestion and absorption. As already we are at the last part of this chapter, so we have to discuss the last topic, that is the disorders of the digestive system. So before we move on to the disorders of digestive system, so let us once again remind whatever you have come across with this lesson. So in the digestion and absorption, we started the lesson with by knowing the definition and the meaning of the digestion as well as the absorption. Then we have discussed the types of digestion, which is intracellular as well as the extracellular digestion. So ours is the extracellular digestion, because the digestion inside our body, it is going to take place with the help of the enzymes, and that digestion which is going to occur with the help of enzymes, that is going to take the digestion is being carried outside of the cell. Okay, so this extracellular digestion, it is being carried by the digestive system, where it is including the two methods, that is mechanical and the chemical method. So here, to see the digestive system, we should not study only the structure of the alimentary canal. We have to even study the associated glands of the alimentary canal. So the study of alimentary canal as well as the associated glands gives the complete structure of the digestive system. So after the study of the complete digestive system, we have come across with the wall of the alimentary canal, where the wall of the alimentary canal is made up of the four layers, and those layers, that is the serosa, muscularis, submucosa, mucosa. So they are going to show some of the modifications inside the different parts of the alimentary canal. So if you take the example of the mucosa, inside the stomach, it is going to form the irregular foldings called as the rugae. So the same mucosa layer inside the intestine, it is going to form the modification that is called as the villi. Okay, so the submucosa layer of the intestine is going to have the glands called as the Brunner's gland. The same mucosa layer of the stomach, it is going to have the glands called as the gastric gland. So this is with respect to the modifications of the layers of the alimentary canal. After that, we have come across with the digestive glands. So that digestive glands, we have come across with the digestive glands, that is the salivary glands, the liver and pancreas. So the salivary glands, there are three pairs of the salivary glands. One is near the cheek, below the tongue, and one that is the next one more, the digestive gland is the pancreas, and the next one is the liver. So you all know that the liver is the largest gland among these digestive glands. Okay, then this liver, pancreas, it is going to form the duct system along with the gallbladder, and all these duct system of the digestive glands are going to open inside the duodenum to pour the secretion of the digestive juices which are being secreted from the liver and the pancreas. Okay, so here we have discussed the duct system of the liver, pancreas and gallbladder, where it is going to form the hepatopancreatic duct, and that is going to open inside the duodenum, and that is being regulated by the sphincter of OD. After that, we have come across with the digestion of the food. So this digestion of the food is going to takes place with the help of the two methods, that is the mechanical and the biochemical or the chemical method. So here don't think that one time in our alimentary canal or in the digestive system one time the complete mechanical method is going to take place. After that it is going to start with the chemical method. It will not be like that. First it will be carrying out mechanical method, and immediately the chemical method is going to take place. When you take the food, when it enters inside the mouth, when it reaches the buccal cavity, so it is going to take it is going to carry out the mechanical method. Once the mechanical method of the digestion is being completed, immediately it starts with the chemical method. So both mechanical and chemical method of the digestion is being completed inside the oral cavity, and then next it is going to move to the next part of the alimentary canal. Then next part of the alimentary canal means it is going to reach your pharynx. From the pharynx it is going to enter inside the food pipe. So once here the food what is going to enter from your oral cavity to the pharynx, that process we call it as deglutition. After the deglutition process, that what the inside the oral cavity, with the help of the saliva which is consisting of the mucus, what the food is being masticated, so that food all together it is being adhered and it is going to form the bolus. So that bolus is going to enter inside pharynx. That process we call it as deglutition, and after the completion of the deglutition, that bolus is going to move across the length of the esophagus with the help of the peristaltic movement. Okay, so once the peristaltic movement helps in the movement of the bolus to move across the length of the esophagus, then the bolus is going to enter inside the stomach. So again in the stomach, mechanical method is going to take place. Once the inside the stomach mechanical method is being completed, immediately it is going to start with the chemical method. So after the mechanical and chemical method inside the digestion, so here you should remember in the stomach what mechanical method is going to take place. That mechanical method is with the help of the churning movement of the stomach, it is making the food to mix thoroughly with the gastric juice. So that bolus is called the bolus, which is going to get mixed with the gastric juice, that is called as the chyme. Okay, so after the formation of the chyme, so that chyme is going to enter inside small intestine. So when the chyme enters inside the small intestine, so that is going to once it enters inside the small intestine, first it is going to reach the duodenum. So inside the duodenum, as there will be a lateral connection will be observed in case of the duodenum, that is the liver which will be secreting the bile juice, pancreatic which will be secreting the pancreatic juice. So the both are being poured inside the duodenum through the hepatopancreatic duct. Okay, so once the hepatopancreatic duct releases both the secretion of the digestive juices, the chyme is being broken down. Okay, so where that chyme will be consisting of the carbohydrates, proteins, fats, nucleic acid. But here in the duodenum, what the digestion is going to take place, so that digestion is not going to form the complete simple and absorbable end products. Okay, then here I said that in the duodenum the chemical digestion is going to takes place. So who is going to help for that chemical digestion? So for the chemical digestion which is going to takes place inside the duodenum, so for that the pancreatic juice which will be consisting of the 6 pancreatic enzymes. So by taking the help of the 6 pancreatic enzymes, the chyme what is going to enter inside the duodenum, so that is being broken down into the end products, but those end products will not be completely the simple and the absorbable. Okay, then after that the end products which are being formed inside the duodenum, they will be made to enter inside the jejunum and ileum. So in the jejunum and ileum the complete digestion is going to takes place. So after the complete digestion, what the end products will be formed. So those end products are simple and they are absorbable. Okay, so once the end products are being formed, our cells are going to absorb those food molecules or the simple food substances. Here who are going to absorb means it is the villi. Because of that the villi are called as the absorptive structures. So villi are going to absorb them. Once the villi absorb these simple forms of the food substances, they are going to send it to the inside of the blood vessels. So these blood vessels, once the simple absorbable food substance, once they enter inside the blood vessels, so that blood is going to supply that food substances or the simple absorbable form of the food substances as in the form of the energy to all our body cells to carry out the physiological activities. Okay, so here all the food whatever we take, all that food will not be completely broken down into simple and the absorbable forms. There some part of the food will be considered as undigested, means which the food what you take will not, some food which is not being digested, so that is called undigested, or the food substances which are not being absorbed, it will be called as unabsorbed. So the undigested unabsorbed food is called as the feces. So this feces is going to be stored inside the rectum temporarily. Once the feces gets completely filled, it is going to send voluntary signal to the central nervous system by eliminating the undigested unabsorbed food substances called as defecation. So this is with respect to the digestion of the food. After the digestion of the food, we have come across with the absorption of the food products. So this absorption of the digested food products is going to take place with the help of the two method, that is active and passive mechanism. But here active mechanism is going to take the help of the carrier ions and even the energy, and that carrier ion is the sodium ions. Okay, here this absorption of the digested food products, mainly it is going to involve the principle of the simple diffusion. Okay, simple diffusion means the movement of molecules from one region to another region is going to take place. But with respect to the water, the transportation of the water is mainly depending upon the osmotic gradient. So here what happens in case of the absorption of the food products, the digested food products which are getting soluble inside the water, so such products are easily being absorbed through the active or the passive mechanism. But with respect to the insoluble food products, there the insoluble food products, they cannot be absorbed into the blood, so because they are insoluble inside the blood. So in such cases, so these fatty acids are, once they will enter inside the villi are going to absorb them. But when the villi absorbs, so immediately that villi cannot send it into the blood, as it is in the form of insoluble. Okay, so in that condition, this fatty acid and the glycerol will be coated with the protein, and that protein covering fatty acid and the glycerol will be called as the chylomicrons. Okay, so that chylomicrons will be absorbed will be transported or will be absorbed inside the lymph, and from the lymph again it will be sent to the blood vessels. Okay, because you all have studied the blood circulation chapter, so the lymph vessels and the blood vessels will be connected to each other. Okay, So here the absorption, where the absorption is going to takes place, inside our buccal cavity also absorption is going to takes place, inside our stomach also absorption takes place, inside our small intestine it is going to takes place, and even inside the large intestine. But remember, the maximum and most of the important food products are being digested and they are being absorbed mainly inside the small intestine only. Okay, so the next topic is the disorders of the digestive system. So here the disorders of the digestive system. Disorders means what are the uh, inflammation which are being caused to our digestive system. So that we are going to study in this topic. So here the inflammation of the intestinal tract means, the inflammation means the swelling of, okay, infection of the digestive system. When the infection or the swelling of the digestive system is observed, so it may lead to some of the other symptoms. Okay, so how it is being observed, the inflammation of the intestinal tract is mainly due to the bacterial or the viral infections. Okay, in bacterial and the viral infection, see, I'll give the example. Take the example of ent amoeba histolytica. Ent amoeba histolytica. So here it is a protozoan. Okay, so this Entamoeba histolytica is a protozoan where we consider it as the protozoan parasite. When it enters inside our body, it is going to cause the amoebiasis. Amoebiasis means it is going to cause the dysentery. Okay, so like that there are some bacteria, viruses which are going to alter the functioning of our digestive system. Okay, so here the infections are also caused by the parasites. The parasites, they are called as the intestinal parasites only. The intestinal parasites like tapeworm, threadworm, hookworm, and the pinworm. So these worms mainly they are going to enter inside our the intestine, and they are going to make the functioning of the digestive system to be get struck. Okay, when they see, you can observe when these parasites they enter inside the small intestine. The intestine means it is I said that the intestine is going to help in the maximum of absorption. Okay, so when the intestine is going to help for the maximum absorption, if these parasites lives inside the intestine, our the process of digestion is going to get altered. Okay, so I said I am using the word parasite. So what is parasites? Parasites means the organisms which are going to depend upon other organism for the purpose of the food and shelter. For example, if the tapeworm, that is the Taenia solium. So this tapeworm, it is going to stay inside or live inside the intestine, that is the small intestine. So here the tapeworm will be called as the guest, whereas the human being which has where the tapeworm has entered, so such human beings are called as the host. Okay, so when the organisms lives inside the body of an host, so such organisms are called as the parasites. Okay, then there are other diseases or the disorders with respect to the digestive system. That is, the first one is the jaundice. Okay, so here the jaundice, you might have come across with the yellow jaundice, white jaundice, but here why that jaundice we are going to suffer with the jaundice? Because of the liver. When the liver is going to get affected, so you all know that the liver is going to secrete the bile juice, so that bile juice is going to have the presence of bile pigments. Okay, so if the liver is being affected, then the secretion of the bile juice becomes if the secretion of the bile pigments inside the bile juice becomes more, so that will lead to the your where it leads to the skin and the eyes are also will turn to the yellow color. Even the urine of such infected, the infection of the liver, in such cases the urine also is going to become the, or it is going to turn as the yellow color. So the jaundice, it is observed due to the affection of the liver, where the secretion of the bile pigments, that is the bilirubin, biliverdin, the deposition of these pigments, when it becomes more, the skin and the eyes of the such person also turns to become the yellow color. Then the next one is the vomiting. Okay, so vomiting, generally we in vomiting, even most of the time you might have observed when you are traveling, you see some people making the that is the discharge of or the ejection of the food substances from the mouth, we might have observed it. Okay, why it is, or some cases we might have observed when they are traveling in the bus, car for the long distance, they won't make the ejection of the food content. But in case of when the traveling in the hill stations with the more curvings, in such cases the ejection of the food substances is going to occur through the mouth. So why? Because that is the because of the vomit center which is present in the medulla. Okay, so this vomit center which is present in the medulla get disturbed, so that is going to cause the ejection of the stomach contents. What will be the stomach contents? Stomach contents means the food contents which is about to go to the intestine, and it should be uh, digested, absorbed. Okay, but here the ejection from the stomach, what the food will be present inside the stomach, so that is being ejected through the mouth, so that is called as the vomiting. Okay, even sometimes when you feel nausea, the weakness because of more tension, stress, so nausea will be generally feeling it, so that also even is going to lead to the vomiting. So the next one is diarrhea. What is this diarrhea? Diarrhea, it is the abnormal frequency of bowel movement and increase liquidity of the fecal discharge. Diarrhea, just see, bowel movement means every day we take the food, so every morning we are going to eliminate the fecal matter. So every normal healthy human being, if they discharge the fecal matter once or twice, then that person is set with, he is having the normal frequency of the bowel movement. If more than 2, 3, 4 times, 5 times, if it goes on increasing the passing of the bowel movements, that is called as the diarrhea. We call it even as the dysentery also. Okay, so in some cases you can observe the increased liquidity of the fecal discharge. Increased liquidity of the fecal discharge means the fecal matter will be always in the semi solid condition. Okay, it will not be completely liquid also, it will not be the complete state of the solid also. Okay, so here in case of the persons one who suffers with a diarrhea, the liquidity, the nature of the fecal matter is going to become more liquid. So when the fecal matter is being more, becoming more liquid, it is going to reduce the absorption of the food also. Okay, so the next one is constipation. Constipation, I said the normal passing of the bowel movement once or twice, it is the normal. If it is more than 2, 3, 4, then we call it as a diarrhea. A healthy human being has to send a fecal matter at least for a day once or twice, but the constipation is the reverse of it. Constipation means the feces which are retained within the rectum. Okay, when the feces are being retained within the rectum, bowel movement becomes irregular. Okay, So that is called as a constipation. The next one and the last disorder is a indigestion. So indigestion means the condition where the food is not properly leading to the feeling of fullness. Means whatever, if you take the food, so if that food is more spicy, okay, or due to the food poisoning, the digestion of the food is not going to takes place. Okay, so when the digestion of the food is not going to takes place, obviously we feel the weakness. Okay, so here when the digestion of the food is not being properly digested, even though the stomach is being completely filled, that we call it as indigestion. So this completes the digestion of the human beings, that is the digestion and absorption lesson. So thank you, students, go through this all the videos of digestion and absorption. Don't neglect this chapter thinking that it is deleted, because it is very important for competitive more than okay. Then one more thing, and more than this, one should know about your own digestive system. So for at least for that sake, go through these all the videos and learn of the digestion and absorption chapter, so that it will be more useful for your CET as well as the NEET. Thank you, students.